And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Starting this section off with the hazardous weather graphic showing winter storm warning here for heavy snow for eastern Norton Sound down into the red shaded area there, staying west of McGrath though, and a blizzard warning out for St. Lawrence Island for north to northeast winds gusting to 60 miles an hour with maybe an inch of snow, but that'll create blowing snow, reducing visibilities to blizzard conditions there. And winter weather advisory for snow and blowing snow there for the Yukon Delta, also for the coastal areas of the western Seward Peninsula, and a winter weather advisory for Bristol Bay for areas of freezing rain. Satellite imagery here showing clouds here over the southwest interior, developing areas of snow in that area, extending up with some more moisture here over the eastern Arctic coast. A lot of clouds here, kind of disorganized clouds moving into the Aleutians, back up toward the Alaska Peninsula. Main low center, one center right in that area, and another one farther back to the west. Have some clouds here coming up to the eastern North Gulf Coast areas. And on the forecast for tonight, this front will move right up across Kodiak Island, and gusty winds and rain there extending down along the Alaska Peninsula with showers for the eastern Aleutians. Area of expanding snow here along that frontal boundary over the western part of the state here, spreading southwestward toward the Pribilof Islands. Snow on the increase, Yukon-Kuskokwim Delta, continuing the Kuskokwim Delta here and increasing to the north, and then the northeast there into the northern Koyukuk Valley, staying dry for the north slope in the Arctic coast, and a slight chance of rain right along the coastal areas of the Panhandle. Otherwise dry over the inland areas. Not much change for the North Gulf Coast, except increasing moisture, so periods of rain or rain and snow mixed coming back into the area here with, that'll extend across Prince William Sound into eastern Turnagain Arm and back out to the west. Not a whole lot going on there. Not too bad for the Aleutians. Winds on the light side with most of shower activity just to the north. And for tomorrow, we've got quite an area of snow here from the Pribilof Islands along this front, all the way up to the northeast to the eastern Arctic coast across central eastern Brooks Range. Picking up some gusty winds in the passes of the western Brooks Range here, actually about Anatuvik over toward Howard Pass. And that'll create some blowing snow up in that area with snow down into the Nulato Hills. That's where the heaviest snowfall is expected to occur, the 10 inches there possibly. And then down across the Yukon Delta, starting to taper off here as you get into that southeast flow over the Kuskokwim Delta. Should become dry tomorrow for Bristol Bay. Periods of rain and wind here, or gusty winds with periods of rain for the Alaska Peninsula. And this front here keeps it wet for the North Gulf Coast. And mostly along the western panhandle, could be some light precipitation there, picking up the gusty winds down toward Prince of Wales Island, even windier toward the Queen Charlottes. And then for the day on Wednesday, low pressure in the Gulf of Alaska, continued east to southeast flow right into the North Gulf Coast. Keeps period of rain and showers going there. Again, eastern Kenai Peninsula, about the same pattern. Drier for Kodiak Island, though, and showers for the southeast coast or areas of light rain. And also some moisture possible due to a couple of lows here. One near the eastern Aleutians, rain and snow showers there, and rain and snow showers for the Alaska Peninsula, mostly due to that low to the southeast. Otherwise, snow is starting to taper off here over the Seward Peninsula, kind of pushing to the north there, along and south of the western Brooks Range, with pretty gusty northeast winds again through the passes, and snow extending off to the northeast there as the Arctic coast becomes stays cold and mostly dry with a fair amount of clearing. Big area of light snow and snow showers here over the central and western Bering Sea from about Adak westward to Shimianatu. Mixed precipitation Adak into the eastern Aleutians northward to the Pribilof Islands. And moving ahead, taking a look at Thursday. Another front here. This one comes right on up, bringing more gusty winds and rain up to the North Gulf Coast. This one pushing a little more into the southeast coast there with warmer temperatures and rain or rain and snow. Chance of snow in the north with the rain down to the south with some pretty gusty southeast winds there. Main low center south of the Alaska Peninsula. Drier over the interior here with still gusty northeast winds through the passes of the Brooks Range as well as the western Arctic coast here. And east-northeast winds over the northern Bering Sea, kind of a developing area of snow here along the southwest coast, kind of working northward along that trough axis during the day on Thursday, actually Wednesday night and into Thursday, coming up towards St. Lawrence Island. Pretty snowy conditions for the southwest coast Nunivak Island area. The Aleutians, kind of south of the action there, just mostly dry with light wind conditions. And for the lows tonight, Kodiak Island, upper 30s, about the same in Bristol Bay, and 30s here, south central Alaska, mid-20s Sitna Valley, 10 degrees in the Copper River Basin, upper 20s and 30s for the southeast coast. Highs tomorrow in the 40s for the Panhandle and the North Gulf Coast here to Homer, upper 30s Prince William Sound, and upper 30s here for south central Alaska, mid-20s in the Copper River Basin, 40s for Kodiak Island and Bristol Bay. Lows 20s, Susitna Valley down in northern Cook Inlet, otherwise 30s here for the Kenai Peninsula, Kodiak Island. About 15 there in the Copper River Basin, upper 20s, lower 30s for Bristol Bay, and lower 30s and 40s for the southeast coast. Highs again in the 40s for the Panhandle to Yakutat, indoor and Middleton Island, Seward, Homer, Kodiak, otherwise in the 30s, except 20s in the Copper River Basin. And then for the northern areas here, generally below zero, except staying above 5 to 15 here for the mid and upper Tanana Valley areas, but below zero, especially North Slope and Arctic coast there, all the way down to St. Lawrence Island. Highs tomorrow, teens and 20s central interior, cooling to around zero there for the central Brooks Range and below on up to the north from there. 5 to 15 here for the Seward Peninsula area. And for the lows on Wednesday morning, from the Brooks Range northward, below zero, areas of the Yukon Flats, Arctic Village down to Fort Yukon. In those areas, 5 to 10 below or about 5 below. Below zero, northern Seward Peninsula, 10 above on the south side there, and around 5 degrees in the central interior, followed by highs, teens and 20s again, cooling off as you get toward the Brooks Range, staying below zero for the North Slope and the Arctic coast. Southwest coast, lows tonight, mid-teens, mid to upper 30s for the Alaska Peninsula, eastern Aleutians, mid 30s for the Adak-Atka area, and then the highs tomorrow, again, lower 40s, eastern Aleutians, Alaska Peninsula, upper 30s for the Aleutians from Adak Island westward, and the lows, upper 20s for the Pribilofs, 30s for the Alaska Peninsula, eastern Aleutians, 30s all the way out to Shimia, and that'll be followed by highs in the mid-30s for St. Paul and St. George, as well as the Aleutians, mostly in the 30s, except closer to 40 for Adak and Atka eastward into the lower 40s for the Alaska Peninsula.